Hey everyone, welcome out to episode 147 of our Day Dark Bark podcast. Oh my god, I jumbled that up. I'm freaking tired. Oh man, that was quite the stretch. There's no episode last week because I had a lot of stuff going on, and I still have a lot of stuff going on. Been watching a lot of movies, uh, working a lot. Making YouTube videos, whatnot, and uh, dude, just man, I bought comics. I've been buying comics. I've been reading more comics. It's been a lot of fun. I've actually been doing videos about comics because I want to. Honestly, I do. And so the main topic is actually being comic books in this episode because I'm actually be talking about how DC is back on my pull list with Dawn of DC. I know it's odd because I haven't pulled DC in so long, and anyone who knows me knows I have my reasons, and it's not the reasons that you see like clickbait YouTube videos about from people. I have a lot of stuff I've been buying. I'm gonna be going, and I've been playing a lot of video games. And no, not Zelda either. I know everyone's probably like, "Oh, Mark's probably just delaying content because he's playing Zelda." No, I never played Breath of the Wild. Honestly, I still have it factory sealed, like from when it came out. Um, I'm my like I said, I don't joke about my backlog of video games. It's atrocious, and so I actually been playing Octopath Traveler on the PS5 to the point where in my little workstation over here, I actually have the PS5 hooked up to my other display so I can play video games while I'm working on content and everything else. Also, had a very busy week where outside of Toku Tonic Shift, which is the Toku show we do live on Zio Agito's YouTube channel on Fridays, I was a guest on Nerdy Girl Creates Otaku Tuesdays on Tuesday night. That was a fun episode. If you haven't already, go back and watch the VOD of that on her channel. It's really good content, so go subscribe. Uh yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, man, doing all these guest spots and collaborations on everyone else's channels, and I'm like, man, I gotta do some content. Like I'm so behind. Like if you're watching on YouTube, this is my backlog of new manga I picked up that I need to read. This is excessive. And I'm just like, I need to just chill for a bit and just spend a couple days. I think this upcoming week, that's all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sit back, catch up on all my manga, make all the videos I need to do, and just spend the week just playing catch up, and then go from there because we're going into summer season, which means movies, like new anime, convention season. You know how I am about convention season, so it's like, man, I need to just you know get my shit together. Honestly, I really do. Um, but yeah, so like I said, just hectic, been busy, and yeah. So I'm gonna go over collectibles that I've been purchasing first because I found some goodies and I was really excited. Um, that's my chair clicking because I need to get a new chair. So Nekatuni Terrors. I finally found Shorty, the clown from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I have the 2-pack already, so now I have Shorty. So now I have all of those for the Killer Clown wave. Uh, and I just need now the dude from They Live and Scott from Teen Wolf, and I have that wave done, and that means I have once again have every NECA Toonie Terror released. Um, so yeah. Really quickly, I've been doing unboxing videos, like quick little ones. Oh, and there's a fire ambulance going by. All right, cool. Um, I've been doing quick little like YouTube shorts and on TikTok like unboxings of them because I feel like that's easier than me fully producing a whole freaking unboxing video and editing and rendering. I'm like, let me just set up the camera on my other little camera dock right here and just boom, 60 seconds, unbox it, good to go. I don't want to milk content and be like, hey, let me do a freaking 12 to 15 minute long unboxing of this. It's like, no, like, let me just boom, 60 seconds and it's done. I do like short form content from that standpoint, and I think I'm going to dabble in that more. So if you haven't, you can go check out the TikTok and Nerd Day Mark. I have the Zelda ones up there. I have the Elf ones that I need to put up there as well. And I'm going to do some for all the Dungeons and Dragons figures I picked up. So yeah, other than that, so Box Lunch was doing a deal where everyone was like, oh, 50% off clearance, and I always check. I don't really buy shirts or anything. I usually will get the figure art minis or statues, and they actually had some Jujutsu Kaisen figure art minis, so I got Yuji and Megumi, so I can add those to my Jujutsu Kaisen self that I have. Really sad the manga's ending this year. But at the same time, like, I'm glad because it wasn't like dragged out. And actually, at the time of recording this, they just dropped the trailer for season 2, which is coming out next month. And I'm like, damn. I was like, I forgot about Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. And I always go around and look for stuff. Like, I also go, like, I have my little rounds I do because everything's in the same, like, mall shopping area. And then when I go to Barnes and Noble, there's a Five Below nearby. And the Five Below has an anime and manga section, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, what's this, what's that, but they have the acrylic stands, the anime. Now, these are like 12, anywhere from like 12.50 to like $18, depending on the IP and the size. But these were $3.25 each. $3.25. So I got one for the Attack on Titan final season. I really like the way that looks. Then I got, obviously, nice Demon Slayer. And then I got all of them, like the full, all four. My camera's not autofocusing, and I don't know why. I think I turned autofocus off. But yeah, $3.25 each. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That's a deal. Like, that's such a good deal. And obviously the Five Below is right by manga store. Well, not manga store. It's Barnes and Noble where I get my manga. Like I said, I'm tired. I'm all over the place. So I finally got the Kamen Rider Kuga Volume 3 manga. If you saw my YouTube short about it, the quality control has definitely been stepped up. Then Oshinoko Volume 2, which means I can start watching the anime again because I watched the first episode and then I stopped watching because I was like, I want to read the manga before I jump into the anime. So now I have Volume 2. It's like, okay, let me see where Volume 2 leaves off, and then I can go back to watching the anime. And then this shocked me because I didn't even know this was coming out yet. Volume 7 of Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. I love this manga, and I'm so glad that Volume 7 came out, because Volume 6 came out last month, and they have been kind of sporadic, not every month, so I was really shocked. I was like, oh, 7's out? I didn't even know this, and so I picked that up. Now, these aren't new pickups, but these are what I'm reading because the next episode I'm doing for next week, which I'm still in the process of editing and filming, that's why this one is going up instead, which is going to be part 3 of Into the Massiverse. I've been reading Radiant Black Volume 3 and Radiant Red, the first volume of that, because that's actually, from a chronological standpoint, the next part where I'm going to be at in the Massiverse, and then after that I will read and do an episode about the actual Supermassive 2022, because Supermassive 2023 is coming out this month, and I was like, all right. But from new pickups, I finally got Rogue Sun Volume 1, and I've been hunting it down, and I finally saw it at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, well, I need this. I need to get this now, All right, sorry about that. Kent decided to attack my tripod, which she always does every time I'm filming, which is ridiculous. I'm like, in the desk-mounted camera mount thing I got was not working, so I was like, I'll just go back to the tripod. But that's beside the point. The next thing I also got, which has been on my list, and I finally found also, was the Dead Lucky Volume 1 from Melissa Flores. So I was like, yay. Because I've been trying to find those, and they haven't been in stock at any of my comic shop or at Barnes & Noble, and they were finally in stock. So I was like, they only had one of each, and I was like, yeah, I'm buying those. I need those, because that's obviously going to be after the Supermassive episode. I'm going to be talking about those. But comics. So, comics I picked up. I got the Donna DC Green Arrow #1. And then I got the Donna DC Primer Special Edition, because I need to figure out what's going on with all the stuff there. And then I got the Green Lantern Donna DC 1. We got Power Rangers 108. And then I got No One Volume 3. I love No One Volume 3. It was so good. I read it right when I got it. Then I actually see right after I had to listen to the podcast. But I have a video That and also Power Rangers has been killing it. The Darkest Hour coming up is gonna be insane, just insane. I'm really excited for it. Like I've been reading the Power Ranger comics now since they started. And certain arcs have been great, this and that. Like, but all these larger scale ones they've been doing, like the Altarian War, uh, you know, obviously Shattered Grid, and this that they've always been really good. Darkest Hour sound is shaping up to be like insane. I'm curious, like what's gonna happen. Like it's gonna be, and the Kenton's back. Hey Kenton, it's gonna be just crazy, and I'm like all for it. I can't wait to start reading that. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Melissa Flores has been killing it with Power Rangers, the Dead Lucky. So I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen with this event, this whatever's. I'm actually curious what's gonna happen after the future of the comic as well. Um, so before I get into like the DC comic stuff, obviously you're gonna have to talk about movies. Obviously, I talked about the fact that I've been playing Octopath Traveler 2 excessively and honestly way too much. Like it's a problem. It really is. Um, but I've been watching a lot of stuff. We purchased digitally Evil Dead Rise because I really wanted to see that, and I loved that so much. Such a good film. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. I'm a huge horror fan. So obviously, watching that was just so good. They added Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania on Disney Plus. Uh, I fell asleep watching it. So I wanted to give it another watch through where I'm actually awake to sit through it. It wasn't because it was boring or anything. I was just really tired. I had worked 9 hours, and I was just like, oh well, it's on there. I want to watch it. Let me and just nope. I was out. And then the final season of Ultraman was on Netflix, and I was like, all right, well, I gotta start watching that too. And it's so good. So many people don't talk about it. It is like it took me a while to get into like that CG animation style during season one, but once I got into it and focused more on the story and wasn't really so critical of like the CG and the animation style, like I loved it. It's so good. Obviously, if you look behind me, if you're watching on video, I'm a big fan of the manga series, even though I need to pick up the newest one that came out because it hasn't been in stock anywhere, but I need to buy it. Uh, it's such a good show. It's worth checking out. Um, then Fast 10 is out. About to go see that actually later on today when the wife gets out of work. And just, a lot of movie stuff. I know Mario's out now on digital. I'm waiting. I'm probably going to just pick that up on Blu-ray when it comes out. I don't really want to buy it digitally. Um, Same with Evil Dead Rise, honestly. I'm probably going to buy that physical as well when it comes out, even though I bought it digitally, just because I like owning physical media. I'm just a big fan of that. I do plan on doing it's in my Google Docs. I have a Google Docs of all the stuff I want to work on. I actually have a whole episode just going over the importance of physical media versus streaming and digital, and why it's important to still support and be at the forefront of demanding physical media for things, especially lately when you look at all the fact that Disney Plus is removing so much stuff from not only Disney's removing stuff from Disney Plus and Hulu, and these things don't have physical releases, so they're kind of in the ether. They're lost, like where like unless you know pirate something, like you're not going to have access to these. And it was one of the things like with Stranger Things, they stopped releasing the seasons on Blu-ray. I have the first two in those like cool VHS collector set, and I'm like, dude, I have Netflix, but I'm still going out and buying these because it's cool. And I like the idea of, if they're working on internet, my internet's been unstable because they're doing all these upgrades in the area for fiber and everything. If my internet's unstable or it goes out, guess what? I'm screwed. I have to watch physical media. It's always why I don't buy digital games unless they're digital only, and even then, I'm like, I wish they weren't. I not a big like fan of digital. It's not like my wife still gets CDs. I have we have a record player, we have a CD player like in the apartment that's also Bluetooth connect, obviously, but it's like one of those things where it's like, physical media isn't bad. I know it's 2023 and everyone wants everything easy access, push of a button, but it's like, what if you don't have that button to press? you know? And that's why like I buy my like I don't. That's why with like manga and like this and that, there's very few things I read digital. I have a lot of digital ones, but like I usually get them when there's like the Humble Bundle manga deals, or I'll go through like Kindle Unlimited, or if there's deals for digital, like I'll buy them that way. But I'm not paying full price. But that's also not my top choice. My top choice is always physical. It's kind of like comics to an extent. Like Marvel Unlimited is a great app if I want to go back and read like full runs in the snap, but it's like at the same time, yeah, I buy a lot of single issues, and yeah, I'm buying trades like all these, Radiant Black, Massiverse trades I have right here. Like I still have all the single issues that all those are based off, but it's easier for me to read them from a trade standpoint. And when I couldn't find volume 2 of Radiant Black in any stores, I bought it digitally. But then I did find it. It's one of those things where like digital media is the convenience of it and the ease of access is great. Like there's stuff thanks to streaming and this and that I probably would have never watched before. I want to, because one, I can't go out and buy it, or two, it just didn't know it existed. So there's a great discoverability with digital media consumption. But if I really like something, I want to go out and buy it as well. Like the movie RRR, the Telugu India film. It's on Netflix. It's amazing. I've seen it like 6, 7 times. I've been adamant. It's winning awards. It's making all these drastic like box office numbers internationally, this and that. And it's like, why doesn't it have a Blu-ray? Like, give me a US release Blu-ray of this so I can watch it. Like, I don't want to have to constantly load up a streaming service to watch it. Like, I wouldn't mind putting a Blu-ray in there. Like, same with anime. Like, I stream a lot of anime Blu-rays, stuff like that. They do get expensive. Okay, I understand that. So I don't buy them as often. But there are some where I'm just like, I really like the show. I want to buy it. And you know, this wasn't supposed to be a main topic, talk about digital media and this and that. But it's one of those things where I've noticed I've been renting a lot of movies on Amazon, especially when stuff that's still in theaters, and it's like, well, okay, two of us going to the movie for 12.50 to $14 each just for the tickets, popcorn, drink, this and that. Okay, I'm looking at $40, $50 right there. Or I can rent it for 15, and if it's something I'm really excited to see, I can own it for 20. So it's like, well, I'm just gonna own it. Why would I rent it? Because the second I hit play, I have 48 hours to watch it. What if, a rainy day film like Evil Dead Rise? I was gonna buy this regardless when it came out on Blu-ray, but I was like, I'm gonna get it now. And even stuff like, that's streaming, like Scream 6, that's streaming right now. We watched it. I loved it. I was like, this is a really good film. And I was like, once that gets a physical release, I'm gonna buy it. I have all the other ones, and she's like, you already watched it. I'm like, yeah, but like I'm gonna watch it again. I want special features. I want this and that. So I'll get the Blu-ray. Digital media is not a bad thing to me. I just think I kind of see it as like a gateway. Okay, I'll find something, a hidden gem, and then I'm like, oh, it's cool, like a TV show. I said TV shows I don't really buy Blu-rays for or DVDs unless I go to like Book Off or they're on sale on Amazon, or like we go to like thrift stores and this and that. I'll find, that's how I got like 4 seasons of Heroes cheap, and Smallville, like in Scrubs, and it's like, okay, that's cool. I'm not gonna go out and buy like, $20+ per season. That's not financially responsible, but I will, watch them. And if it's something I've never seen before, I'll start watching. It's good. I'll get it. That's why I say for like the Toku videos and this and that, when we get like Kamen Rider releases on Blu-ray and Ultraman and the Super Sentai DVDs, I'm like, even if I'm not going to watch it right away, I'm buying it. One, because there's no other way to really watch them, honestly, legally. And two, it's what it's like, oh, we're making money off of this. Let's release more physical stuff. And I'm, like I said, the main thing that goes, like I had Twitter open and one of my friends was complaining about how like all this stuff is being removed off these services. And I'm like, support physical media, man. Like go buy a DVD, go buy a Blu-ray, like that. And the sad thing is a lot of the stuff doesn't even have that option. And that's my main issue, is that the streaming service, they're basically saying, oh, we're going to make money if we there's no risk to lose money if it's just digital only. We're not going to release it physical. And it's like, it's a stupid way to do it. Honestly, it makes me angry. Because I like physical media. One day I'll do like a tour video going over all the physical media I have for like movies and DVDs and like music and everything else, because it's a pretty big collection. And video games as well, because I feel like that'd be like something nice to have. I already have a guest in mind for when I do that podcast episode. I gotta hit them up actually and see if they're down for that, because I know they would be. Um, but yeah, the main topic, DC Comics, because I haven't pulled any in so long. And I guess before we get into like Dawn of DC, I should go over the back story and the back history of me collecting DC. Because, I mean, as a lot of people know, I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I have, the Ion logo from the comic on my arm, I have the lantern on my back. Um, I've never pulled a lot of DC though. Outside of Green Lantern and some Batman like trades and Superman trades, I never and Aquaman. I'm a big Aquaman fan. Um, the last time I was pulling anything was when post New 52's post Rebirth, when they brought Shazam back. And we all know how that run went. It was weird. They stopped at like issue 7. Had a 3-month hiatus, then released like 8 and 9, like I think almost in the same month. And it was just a weird run. It was good, but the release for DC, and this was pandemic time, so I understand there were some issues with Diamond and distributing, and then DC, kind of went on their own and started their own, so they started releasing their comics on Tuesday. But really, I got burnt out on DC after the New 52s, because back then, I didn't have a YouTube channel, I didn't have a podcast or anything. I was just a fan of comics, reading comics, talking about comics on like Facebook and on uh, different forums with people and my friends at the we'd go hang out at the comic book shop and talk about comics and this and that. So I picked up Blackest Night, every issue, all the sides, like the Titan 3 issue run, the Batman Superman 3 issue, like all of them, even issue 0. I had some of the sketch covers that I sold for a good amount of money. um and then Brightest Day started, so I went through that run. I enjoyed it because it brought back certain people. The Flash, we got Aquaman fully back, alive. Like Brightest Day was kind of like a reboot in its own to a certain extent, because certain people were back alive that were dead, and it wasn't like a soft reboot, because the run was kind of just like, okay, here's the fallout and the recovery of everything from Blackest Night. Then after that, they went into the New 52s. And I was reading some of the stuff like Flash. That was actually when I started getting into Flash really heavily, because I wasn't really outside of Flash Rebirth, that trade. I never really had a lot of Flash stuff. Never really was the biggest fan of the Flash. Um, I wasn't really a big Superman fan either, outside of movies and like Smallville from a comic standpoint. And the New 52s were good, but I was just like, man, this is a lot of stuff to follow. And then it led into a lot of like too many issues. So we had Batman and Robin, Batman Incorporated, all this other stuff. And I was like, this is too much. And this is around the same time I was getting kind of burnt out with Marvel. So Marvel, I got burnt out shortly after Original Sin. And then I kind of got back into it, War of the Realms. And then, I was only pulling like Thor, Hulk, Hickman's X-Men, House of X, Power of X, stuff like that. And then like once Hickman left X-Men, I was like, all right, I'm done. Even now I'm not really pulling any Marvel. But DC, there's a longer gap, because like I'd pull up little things here and there from comics, like the Shazam run. And I was like, oh, it's not bad. I tried doing a lot of Green Lantern stuff, and as a Green Lantern fan, it's tough when, I'm such a fan. Like, that's why I have the tattoos. I don't have tattoos because they look cool. I'm a fan. I love Green Lantern. I always will love Green Lantern. My favorite comic book character of all time. I got into comics like when I was a kid, but then as an adult, I got into comics again during a rough spot in my life, and Green Lantern was a comic that, like, that Green Lantern Rebirth from Jeff Johns, like that kind of kickstarted me getting back into comics again, and gave me a hobby to focus on instead of the negative things in my life I was doing. And it was a nice distraction and a nice something to put my energy into outside of the other things I was doing. So I love Green Lantern, and I, I fell out of like DC stuff, Marvel stuff. I was like, like if you if you watch my videos or listen to the podcast, I've been pulling Boom and Image for so long now, and Dark Horse and Valiant, like all these other comic companies and all these indie things, like Jeff Lemire doing things with like the little monsters and things like House of Slaughter and Something's Killing the Children, like all these indie runs that are great. I just couldn't. I always felt anytime I tried to get back into DC, some major arc was going on, something was going on that was just like, okay, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not gonna pull it. I'll wait till this this event is over and see what's going on. This time with Dawn of DC, I was like, all right, I knew about it. I heard people have been rumbling, talking about, tweeting about it, and I'm like intrigued. And I was just like, well, I'll pick up the Green Lantern #1 when it comes out. But before that, the Green Arrow. And I'm like, I don't know if I would read Arrow. And then, people on Twitter, friends of mine were hyping it up. They're like, nah, you got to check it out. It's a good book. And I'm like, I'm not the biggest Arrow, like Green Arrow fan. Like, I watched Arrow, the show. I never even finished it. Like, I got like 4 seasons in. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I actually really enjoyed the issue. And I was like, wow, this is actually really good. It didn't hold my hand. It explained everything from Dark Crisis of Infinite Earth enough, and it gave me enough backstory to Oliver's character and everything going on leading up to what's going on now, and it didn't waste a lot of time in the issue. So I was like, this is good. I like this. So I actually have a video that's going live going over a review of it, plus also DC's on my pull list now. So when I went back 2 weeks later, pick up Green Lantern #1, I was like, put Green Arrow on my pull list. And they're like, Green Arrow? I'm like, yeah, it was actually a really good issue. They're like, yeah, Joshua Williamson did a really good job. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, you haven't had DC on there in a long time. I'm like, I'm aware I haven't had DC because I trade weight for a lot of stuff from DC and Marvel. It's not that I'm not reading the issues and I hate them. I'm actually just picking up the trades when they come out. So I put Green Arrow on there, and I was like, just put Green Lantern on there just to be safe. I'm gonna read it, and I also picked up the primer issue. Um, and yeah, no, I really like, because it's obviously there's something going on in the DC universe with Dawn of DC. I haven't read all the other stuff. I have to read like the primer still, but I'm hoping that it's isolated enough for each run where it's not such a massive crossover. Where I got to read everyone's issues, because I feel like this is like a soft reboot, because we're not getting new origins or anything. It's just kind of, okay, this big event happened. Now, here's a good jumping point to get into everything. And I like when comics do that. I don't like hard reboots constantly. Marvel does this a good amount. DC does too. But I do enjoy like the soft reboot every once in a while. But I feel like it's been so frequent with both major companies that I was kind of put off at first. But I was like, oh, these are actually really good quality. Like, I'm shocked that Green Arrow actually like hooked me in. So like Green Arrow is now on my pull list, and I'm like, damn, okay. Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see where it's gonna go more. Um, so far I'm enjoying it. If you've checked it out, let me know. I don't know if I'm gonna pull all the other titles like Superman and um, um, all the other like Titans and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm gonna pull those out at all. I know for right now, just Green Arrow, Green Lantern are the ones that I'm most intrigued by. If there's a Dawn of DC like the primer, if there's an actual like incremental like numerical one that's like ties everything together, I might get that just to see the overall story. Like, because I know Amanda Waller is in the primer one and mentioned in Green Arrow, so I'm curious what that's gonna be. Um, but yeah, that's really it. I don't really have much to talk about in this episode. Just comic stuff. I'm just really burnt out right now. Pretty tired, working on a lot of stuff. Got some other videos I need to render and edit, and really setting up for the Massiverse episode, because that's going to be a really big episode for part 3. I'm excited to see how that turns out. If you haven't already, I do have the Who Has No One video up going over the first 2 issues, and without not the very light spoilers, but really just going over the idea behind the comic, like the plot and like the idea from the standpoint of we have a comic with that's the title character isn't the main character. The main characters are journalist and our detective, and the journalist has a podcast, and then the actual podcast episode based on that issue goes live to actually listen to on Spotify and everything else when it comes out. And I'm like, this is crazy. So good. And if you haven't already, we have the Radiant Black 24, the big decision we all get to make. I believe there's only like 2 weeks left for everyone to make their decision and vote. So if you haven't already, go check that out. I have a video for that as well on the channel. That's it. It's a short episode. Honestly, not a lot going on. And these episodes aren't supposed to be like an hour, 2 hour long. I mean, yes, when I have guests on, they are. But these are supposed to be quick, digestible episodes. So that's really it for episode 147. I had to think of the number of a Nerd Name Mark podcast. You can find the podcast on all podcast listening platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google, whatever they change their name to. Just type in a Nerd Name Mark podcast. You'll find it. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, I thank you. Don't forget the subscribe button, like the video. I'm really looking forward to this Massive Verse episode. Honestly, it's going to be real good. And I got to put the AC on because it's hot. I'm sweating over here. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. My name is Mark, and I'm a nerd.